What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing well out there. Happy Saturday. It would be Saturday night when I'm making this video. This is going to be something a little bit different. I don't see a whole lot of paintings in this kind of style. This is kind of my style. Well, no, this starts off with Joshua Moonshine. You guys should check his stuff out. Google it. Really cool performance artist, spray paint artist. The reason I started doing this, I saw him at the fair years ago. Guy's awesome. Guy's really fast. He's got a lot of energy. His paintings they're cool. They're different. So this is like my kind of spin-off, sort of his style. You know, his style inspired me in the first place. So it's cool. I'll get into it. It's gonna be some islands. It's gonna be, I don't know, it's kind of like a bay. It doesn't necessarily. I'm down in South Florida. This to me is like just somewhere, you know. No palm trees. Like my stuff's normally palm trees, but it's cool stuff. I'll just get into it. All right. I'm gonna be making a video. I'm gonna be editing this video into a fun version with music to it, just to kind of zone out and watch, and then another version where I kind of explain what's going on in it. I'm still trying to figure out the whole editing tools, but whatever. If you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please just stop by and say what's up, you know. It helps this channel grow, I believe, and kind of the ratings. So it'd be cool to have more people be able to see it. So, alright, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is a little topper or dish that I'm putting down. I'm just spraying a little bit of black around it just to give it like an outline for the moon, so I know where the moon will be. This is Rust-Oleum white. I spray it down. I light it on fire to get the texture that I get. Kind of a cool effect. Don't spray too much down or in too large of an area, because you will light the painting on fire. Done that before. Blow it out. This is cheaper Color Place. I believe it's Color Place. Black from Walmart. It is Color Place. Just gives it more like an airbrush kind of lighter effect. It's good for shadows. Now I'm using it is a white for the sand. It is Heirloom white. This is a Rust-Oleum. And the other darker brown is a khaki brown. I think the khaki comes in Krylon or Rust-Oleum. You kind of mix them together. Eventually you kind of get a sand texture. The darker is going to be more up towards the middle of the painting. That would be where the water's coming in, keeping the sand kind of wet looking. The lighter is going to be towards the bottom, you know, where the sand would be more dry. So now I'm putting the dish down where the moon's going to be. I had let the paint kind of dry where the moon is. If you stick it on right away, right after you spray that white down, it'll stick to the white. So I was giving it time to dry a little bit. Spray some white around the black that you had down, just to give yourself a good base, because when you start putting colors over it, that black can bleed through. So now I'm spraying it's kind of like a sunset behind. It's going to be a sunset. Yellow, orange, red are going to be the colors for this painting. I'm going to put yellow clouds over the orange. So when you see me spraying more orange down, it's going to be covered up by some of the yellow. It's like the base. It's the only way you'll see the yellow clouds come out. So there won't be all of this orange that you see right now. You'll see this is where we start to do that. Same thing, if you don't like the way it looks, I'm gonna go back over some of these yellow clouds with the orange. Kind of gives you like a highlighted look. If you look at, I started doing these by looking at actual photos of sunsets and storms and clouds, just clouds. You can kind of copy the effect that is real in nature. These are both Krylon paints, the yellow and the orange. The Krylon gives you a much better, it's like a lighter misted kind of paint. It's great for doing these details and effects, especially the clouds. This is the new Krylon cans, so they kind of look like Rust-Oleum cans, but that's what they have in the stores down by me now. It's cool, they still come out though, like the Krylon, kind of like the lighter, they come out, but they come out in a lighter kind of misted form as compared to the Rust-Oleum, which comes out in a real thick spray. This is a Color Place cheaper red paint. This is from Walmart, and I love these cans for smaller details like that, like just getting that airbrush misted look. So yeah, I think I made a mistake here. I didn't want that much of an orange cloud at the bottom. And I think you can see yellow spots coming off the can. The yellow can was starting to clog up. It's fine, when things like that happen, you can usually cover them up somewhere throughout the painting. So I'm not going to sit there and mess with it. You can see blotches of yellow. It'll get covered up at some point, don't worry about it. This is a Rust-Oleum paint. I want to say this is going to be Seaside Gloss. I use a few different. That color there is going to be a light turquoise, also Rust-Oleum. That would be Rust-Oleum white. It's good for your highlights. It comes out very thick and fast. So I'll use those usually on the water highlights. And this is the Rust-Oleum clear that I just sprayed down, just to kind of wet the paint so that you can now smear through it. I'm not pressing down super hard when I'm smearing through this. I'm kind of like my fingertips are brushing it. I'm not trying to mix the paint together. I'm just trying to, I don't know. I guess I am mixing it, but I'm not like mashing it into one color. A little bit of fire to seal the paint up a bit. You guys didn't see this, but I kind of edited probably 30 minutes or 30 seconds, a minute out of this video at least, where I was letting some of that water paint dry. I didn't put that spatula or that straight edge on there right away. It'll stick to that paint. For the purposes of this video though, I did edit out a small chunk of that. Use one of the dish tops, that you use to wave over the top and dry the paint faster. So this is the green. This will be for the islands. I'll put down, I believe, it's a Rust-Oleum. It's meadow green from this Rust-Oleum. This is the bottom layer. There will be black over top of this. More fire to kind of seal that up. I'm trying to let it dry a little bit. I don't want it to be completely wet. So now I'm going back over the sand. I'm spraying the khaki brown on my finger and kind of flicking it down over the sand area like you would the stars. If you've ever seen somebody do like the stars where they put the white paint on their finger and flick it into the sky area. This is kind of the same, just on the sand. I'll do that with both the white and the khaki over the sand, the heirloom white. So with this is the straight edge. This isn't touching the paint. I'm holding this slightly over the top of the painting and spraying against it in kind of like an overspray. This is the best way that I've found to do waves. It's something new that I just kind of figured out, so I'm still trying to perfect it. As you can see, it's a little, I don't know. I'm trying not to take too much time and really think about this painting either. Just want to kind of go with it and see how it comes out to a certain extent. This is a piece of poster paper I've torn out. So now I'm putting black over top of that green. And this is where, once this black's down, you'll see I'll come back with a piece of paper and kind of mash into the black, and it'll pull some of the black up and show the green below it. Sorry, I think my head gets in the way here too. I have to adjust my camera. I just started using a new camera, so the angle was kind of different than the one I used to use. Apparently it picks at the back of my head now. I've got to take that small dish off where the moon was, so that I can do the island below it. So there that is. Yeah, you guys should check out Josh Moonshine. These are kind of his style paintings. He just does these real quick. I'm trying to get more of like an edge to these islands. If you watch his stuff, he kind of does this the same way, but he does it much faster, and it looks cool. I'm trying to get more of like a clean look. So again, my little take on this. The piece of paper there, if you can see it, well, you might see it in the next island. I kind of wrap it in a triangle around my hand so that it doesn't touch. So I can attempt to not touch other parts of the painting if they are still wet. So again, this is the color place. This is the cheaper black that I'm putting over these islands. It gives less like spatter and spray. If you tried to use the Rust-Oleum to do this, you'd get kind of spatter into the other colors because it just comes out so thick and kind of pops when it comes out of the nozzle. This, I'm using a very small amount right there of the clear coat to wet that paint. Don't spray too much clear coat on that cheaper color place paint. It will thin it out very easily. It doesn't do that so much with the Rust-Oleum or the Krylon paints, but it definitely will with the cheaper color place Walmart paints. Here I'm just taking, and that's a piece of, I think I said that, a piece of poster paper with just a little chunk ripped out. There I'm taking it just to kind of overspray. Again, that wasn't touching the painting. I'm just kind of overspraying sort of across it to kind of give that island a little highlight. There I sprayed white on my finger, normal white, and you flick it and it'll spatter across the sky to look like stars. This is a scrap piece of poster paper. I'm trying to get like a rough edge on it. Now this is a new little technique that I've been trying. I'm just trying to, this is kind of like shadows across the sand, right? So like the sand's not completely flat, like there are little mounds, there's gonna be little, there's dirt hills or whatever there is. That's kind of what this is meant to replicate here. I'm not really thinking about this, I'm just kind of going with it. And again, I'm holding this above the painting, like that paper isn't touching the painting. It's maybe, I don't know, half an inch above, if that. So this is overspray that you're seeing. I'm spraying up against the paper. sort of against the paper and against the painting. It's definitely something you have to practice. So I just tore off another little chunk. Now I'm gonna spray. This is you can see the flat side, or the very straight piece of that paper. This is the Rust-Oleum black, the thicker black. And this is just giving more detail to those mounds. So this is meant to get like, you know, a painting look, like a rough, just kind of not abstract, but it's not supposed to look entirely realistic. Here, I think I'm getting this ready. I don't think I do this yet. Yeah, that's just white on another piece of poster, scrap poster paper. But before that, so this is a smaller straight edge. I'm using the cheaper Color Place Walmart black. I'm overspraying against it and creating the little shadows that would be kind of coming from the islands, right? Because there would be shadows coming from them. The moon would be back behind them. So whatever light's coming from the moon would be casting shadows from those islands. So now this is Rust-Oleum white. This is the good thick white. I'm spraying a small amount of it on a scrap piece of poster paper. And I'm using, these are little pieces of plastic that I've cut out. This is a technique you've got to practice. Don't just try this in the middle of a painting that looks good, because you'll probably screw it up. This is something you really have to mess with. Sorry again, I think my head gets in the way of these. Again, I'll have to mess with that camera angle. But it is what it is at this point. Practice this, you know, on a painting or on just a piece of paper that you can throw away. But these are little pieces of plastic that I'm using, and there's different sizes. I find that they have the best effect when you're kind of scratching down and creating these little waterfalls. You'll see other people doing that with pieces of poster paper, and it works. But the poster paper has to be sort of solid, you know, and have some like character to it. It can't bend so much, otherwise you won't get that scratch look. And I find that even the thick poster paper, once the paint sits on it too long, it starts to make it soft. So this is why I use small pieces of plastic to create those waterfalls. Again, my head's in the way. I think the last island, the bigger island, you'll see what I'm doing here. This now is a piece of poster paper, and this, I'm just using the straight edge of the poster paper, putting some paint on it, and kind of creating that, where the water is just kind of coming down and starting to flow across the land or the water, or the ocean area. This is, I don't know what that is. This is a paint spatula of some sort. I'm spraying the thicker Rust-Oleum black on it. This is how I create the palm trees, or these are going to be kind of like pine trees. I'm spraying this just on one side of the spatula. Again, this is something you have to practice before you just stick it right on a painting, because it can be kind of weird to control. I've just done this so many times that, you know, you're going to stick that down, and you'll see me when I'm kind of moving it back and forth like that. I'm making sure that just enough paint's hitting that it's actually showing up. If you just try and run it up, you know, stick it on the painting and run it up and then pull it off, you're likely to miss some areas. This is, I don't know what the name of that thing is either, but just kind of the same effect, just in a smaller version. Spraying on the bottom of it, kind of flicking a little bit off. I don't want a ton of paint on it, and then I'm just putting it on its edge and kind of shooting it up. One little tip, that tree I'm doing right there is very close to the edge. I don't do that too often, or I try not to get super close to the edge, just because when you do either the palm trees especially, I don't like the palm trees going off the border. For whatever reason, they just don't look good to me when they do that. So I try, and these are going to be the pine trees. These are more compact. You'll see that's actually just a rag, like a towel, dish towel. Spraying the Rust-Oleum thicker black on it. And I don't think any of these trees will go. If you saw in the beginning, this is a piece of poster paper taped down to a thin piece of wood. So you can kind of still see where the border is, where the blue tape is. When I'm spraying the blue or the black paint onto that rag, I'm hitting it off of a little tester piece of white paper before I put it right on the painting. So you never really know how much paint's actually in that rag. You know, I'm doing the bigger trees first and then going to the smaller trees. By the time I get to the smaller trees, a lot of paint has come out of that rag, so it doesn't splotch down. You can kind of get more of a detailed effect from it. Right now, this is, I believe, the birds. This should be the birds. I'm spraying the black Rust-Oleum paint onto that little tool. I'm putting the point right down to the painting and just kind of scratching, you know, from side to side. It's something I've always done. I've always got 3 birds in the paintings I do. I don't think you'll see. Yeah, they're in most of the paintings I do. This is the spatula again. This is the cheaper Color Place white from Walmart. Again, I'm holding the spatula slightly above the painting and spraying against it, kind of overspraying against it. Well, there it is, guys. I hope you liked it. Stop by, leave a comment. Tell me if you do like the style. Tell me what you think about it. I know it's a little bit different. It took some time to kind of grow on me, but I really appreciate it these days. I think it looks really cool. Please subscribe. Please like. Definitely helps this channel. Alright, see you guys. Bye.